and welcome back to my channel. We have a lot of newcomers here, so thank you for being here and welcome. My name is Tana. We are working on a very fun, budget-friendly room makeover today. We are currently standing in my daughter's room, what was my daughter's room. Right now it's currently empty, but we have been living in this home for about 2 years now. It'll be 2 years in October, and we haven't really done much of anything in this house besides redoing the guest bathroom. It's not a space that reflects her personality at all. So we are changing that. Popcorn ceiling is probably one of the first things on my list. I have been slowly, room by room, removing the popcorn ceiling, and it makes such a big difference. It can even make the room feel even bigger than it is, or taller. I have my water, I have my mask. These are some of the best masks to use when you're doing like dusty work like this. And then a scraper. Going up the ladder, gonna get all my equipment on and start spraying, and hopefully in the next 3 hours, we will no longer have popcorn ceiling. It has been 3 hours. I've been scraping all this popcorn ceiling off. It looks amazing. Like, your eye doesn't instantly stop when you're looking up at this harsh line of popcorn. You know what I mean? Like, it now can flow seamlessly. That alone makes a huge difference. It only took 3 hours of my time and it cost me absolutely nothing. I do need to fill in some holes, but other than that, like, it's ready to go. Now, let's talk about this wall. This is the wall that my daughter has christened very kindly for me. Overall, it could be worse. We have talked to her since. When this room is painted, there will be no more of this freehanding artwork. We will give her a designated spot to do her artwork for us, but there will be no more drawing on the wall. So do not worry about that. That has been discussed and she understands. This used to open up into our third bedroom. So on the other side of this wall is actually my husband's office, and it's been like this for a long time. So we need to get this looking like the rest of the walls. I went in my stash of paint and found some just like spare white paint that I have, because I have a feeling that all of this beautiful artwork that my daughter made is going to seep through the wall texture or the paint that we decide to put on. So I just kind of want to like seal it in. Don't need like too much. Leaking through very bad. We are on coat 4 now, and while it looks much better, it's still showing through a little bit. So I'm out of white paint. I'm going to use this extra paint that I have. It's pink. Maybe having a little darker color is going to help. I have done probably 7 coats of paint, and the blue Sharpie is still coming through. So I did some research and I asked around what could be a solution for this, and I came upon this brand Kills. Basically supposed to be like a really heavy duty primer. This could be a solution for me and could be a solution for you if you have the same problem. So we're gonna test it out and see if it works. Now I've already filled all of the holes. We need to go in and sand them, and then I might have to go and texture every single space that I sanded. The woman who lived here before us, she loved to hang things on her wall. She would use nails or tacks, just anything that she possibly had that she could hang something up on the wall. This used to be her office as well, so I would say she had a majority of anything that was hanging up in this room, which made for a lot of touch-up. I want to address this window situation. It's a beautiful window that provides some natural light in the room, but it's very basic. It does not even have any window trim. I also added this peel and stick self-adhesive trim. It completely transformed the windows in our living room, and I love how they turned out. Now to a point where I really need to start thinking about paint colors. So I've been looking at colors in my Big Bear pamphlet. So these are kind of the colors that we got going on. More of the upper parts of this, those colors kind of scream Beatrix Potter. This one right here, this is called Flower Pot. This pretty green. This one's called Hybrid, and it's like a muted green. And then English Hollyhock. And then looking with it next to the pink, like I feel like these colors all go together really, really nicely. We're gonna start with the darker pink first, and then I can go ahead and tape off like any of the doors or the window trim and kind of like the bottom half and do the majority of the Angelico on the top half. Now the door still has the hardware, and we're going to be changing all that out, so I'm not worried about getting it painted. We're just going to paint everything on here, and then later when things dry, we'll take off the hinges and the doorknob and replace it with our new stuff. Sitting with this color for a night, for an evening, and I've come up with the conclusion that the top Angelico is just a little bit too pink. It's very bubblegum, is like the vibe that it's giving me, and if I'm being honest, I do not love it. Now the bottom color I do love, so we have a couple options that we can do in this scenario to remedy the situation. Option one is to basically color drench the whole room in the flower pot color. I actually don't mind that idea, however, it is going to prevent us from doing any kind of scallops because we will no longer have a secondary color to work with. Option two leaves us the option to do scallops, and it does get rid of most of the Angelico color. We can essentially take up the flower pot almost all the way to the ceiling, maybe 1 or 2 feet below the height of the ceiling, and then do our scallops in the Angelico color going down, so it almost looks like a border on the ceiling, and the border will have the lighter pink, the more bubblegum pink, and then the majority of the room will have this flower pot color that I like the most. So I think that if we do option 2, that's going to give us kind of the best of both worlds. While we are letting the paint dry, let's move on to another project. This dresser I've had for around 5 or so years. This dresser was given to me by my Nana and it's very precious to me. It's a wonderful piece of furniture, perfect for little kids' clothes because the drawers are a little bit more on the narrow side. And I really want to bring this back to what it used to be, the wood tones, and make it like one of those primitive, antique, English looking pine dressers. And essentially we're just gonna sand the whole thing down. That's kind of the plan. We may or may not replace the hardware, depends how it ends up looking, but I really wanna bring this back to its original glory and make it beautiful and wood. Now to create our scalloped border, I'm going to be using the lighter pink color in Angelico, and I found a rounded plate in the correct size that I wanted to create a medium-sized scallop. If you're wanting smaller scallops, you would simply just choose a smaller round plate. Now I'm going to be taking a pencil and tracing the bottom half of my plate up to my level line and going all the way around the room using this technique. Next, I bought a rounded brush from Lowe's, which is perfect for this DIY because we have a lot of curves to paint, along with a handheld paint bucket since we're going to be going up and down a ladder quite a bit. Because the paint color is so light, I do need to do 2 coats to get maximum coverage, and this room also has some funky angles, so I freehanded the hard to reach sections along with the corners with a smaller paintbrush. This DIY only took me an hour and adds so much character to this little girl's room. Good morning, guys. It has now been a few weeks since I've talked to y'all last, and that's because with all the things going on in life, school, vacations, family members coming to visit, like all the things, I have been out of commission for a while now. But now I am back on track and we are revisiting this situation here in my daughter's room. The walls have been painted and we are gonna start putting things back together, bringing all the beautiful things that we've been refinishing. It means bringing in decor. We do have a lot more DIY projects to do, so we're just gonna start getting things checked off the list. Let's just take a moment for the door. So seamless and beautiful. I love how we color drenched the trim, added new hardware. I need to put the new hinges on because these hinges had been painted over. So rather than taking them off, putting new ones on before I painted, I just opted to paint everything while I was here. I'll take these off and now add some gold hinges that will, you know, go with some of the accents in the room. Before I take anything off, I like to take pictures just in case I need to refer back to what was new. time looking for an antique light fixture for this room. Couldn't find it. I wanted a very specific style, and so I didn't want to spend a lot of money either. My max budget for a beautiful chandelier light fixture was around $200. So I went searching online for a new piece, and I found something on Anthropologie that was on major sale, like major discount. What normally would have cost $800 for this slide cost me $200, which was exactly in my budget and beautiful. It's exactly the style I wanted. So we're gonna go ahead and install it, which I'm super excited about. And as y'all can see from up here, the scallops around the border, so good. So these must be the shades. I love shades like this. They're so pretty. The base. We have this part and some extensions so we can figure out how low we want it to hang. Because we have such tall ceilings in here, I'm gonna use all the extensions that they gave us. I want it to hang somewhat low. Twist them on. Take a moment and appreciate how stinking cute this light fixture is. I'm gonna go ahead and put the shades on. We have light bulbs in. They are ready to be assembled. Our chandelier's up. So stinking cute in this girly little bedroom that we have. We're gonna start decorating, which is really exciting because I've been purchasing some things. There was not a rug in here, and I've heard that IKEA has some of the best quality jute rugs. I do love the color. It's going to give a really nice base in this room. I love the neutral colors because we'll have a lot of natural tones like the dresser that we refurbished. That's going to kind of tie together. So let's go ahead and bring the dresser in and see how it all looks together. After thinking about hardware for the dresser, I wanted something that was going to make it look like one of those beautiful pine dressers that I see everywhere that cost a fortune. And I found these natural knobs on Amazon. They don't have any stain or anything like that, and they match perfectly to the sanded dressers. This looks absolutely amazing, even better than I expected. It just has this kind of like old antique feel, and it turned out so beautiful. So this is my daughter's antique bed. I think I found this Facebook Marketplace for around $60. One of the things about it though, the reason it was $60 is because it's missing the finials. My daughter keeps asking for a bunk bed, and Santa might be bringing her a bunk bed this year. So I don't want to go through the process of finding and collecting all of the parts for the finials. So I want to do something that's temporary that still looks pretty. So let's put the bed together and then we can kind of mess with that and see if it's actually going to work. So I looked on Amazon and I found these wooden balls, literally just these wooden balls that I want to hot glue to the top of these finial spots, as they also tie in a lot of the wood tones like the dresser and the rug. If you're in the same situation as me, this is a great DIY that will not break the bank. Guys, it is a new day, new DIY project. We're gonna be focusing today on my daughter's nightstand. I found a set of 2 nightstands on Facebook Marketplace for $20, and I've looked up the brand and these definitely would cost more than $20 to be all fixed up and prettified, but I'm really excited to be doing them today because I want to paint it a different color. this used to be the shelf that was in the room. It's long, it's good quality. It just needs fresh coat of paint, and we're gonna be using Kills to be covering up this whole thing to prevent any of the stain from coming through. Every time I visit thrift shops, antique malls, or even Facebook Marketplace, I always keep a lookout for gold ornate frames. I've had these two in my stash for a while, and I think it's time for them to have a special place in this room. Now, I wasn't crazy about the artwork, and purchasing digital prints can get a little costly, so instead I looked up some art sketches on Google and found a few pieces that I thought looked really cute. If you need to adjust the size prior to printing, you could easily use Google Docs or Canva as a free option. I was able to easily print these on my printer, and now I have brand new artwork for $0.
Say something